Доброго ранку, шановні гості, шановні колеги.
Friends, colleagues, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here, and I would like to welcome our online participants. Before the presentation starts, let's thank our military who are daily defending our country from the enemy, and we remember and thank them for their service that brings our victory closer. And now there is a minute of silence in the memory of all the deceased soldiers.
Дякую.
Thank you. All the big changes and large-size projects, inventions, fantastic designs, they all start with innovations. And this is very relevant for Ukraine now. And the proactive, innovative entrepreneurship is the foundation for Ukraine to have thousands of companies that complement the global digital technologies. Today, we present to you our vision that the Ministry of Digital, our partners and stakeholders worked for the last 6 months. But where are we moving forward to, bringing us closer to the innovative jump forward, is exactly the vision that we present to you, that has been delivered by the Ministry of Digital Transformations, the Ministry of Education, and the USAID project. And now the floor goes to Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal. Innovative folder with innovative letter size pages. Vice Prime Minister in charge of innovations, Mr. Fedorov, our USAID partners, esteemed business, academia, friends and partners. I welcome you all here, those who create the Ukraine of the future. At this meeting, we are helping to fight for our independence, sovereignty, just peace, and we're fighting for the right to choose our own direction for our development, opening ourselves for the world and opening the world for ourselves. And the path of global innovations is an uphill battle, but it's something that our country needs because we are fighting the war for our freedom, for our independence, and we need just peace. We, in the peaceful Ukraine, we need, of course, to rebuild and renovate, but first and foremost we work to achieve our victory. And I'm deeply convinced that without the innovations, the victory will come, but it will take much longer. And thus, today we're focused on innovative decisions and solutions, something that drives our economy to make it competitive, to make it able to overcome any challenges. Innovations is what provides our armed forces with the advantage at the front lines. Analyzing global trends, we can observe that the leading countries and economies are investing huge funds into innovations. And we can see that those countries that are focused on innovations now, they get the return on the investment on each dollar. UK, US, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland, and many other countries like Finland, by the way, have demonstrated substantial breakthroughs. through first providing global vision of innovations for their countries, and they are building step by step the society of the future through innovative technologies, AI, robotechnics, cybersecurity, renewables, biotechnologies, genome science. All this is part and parcel of such societies in the future. And Ukraine is ambitious enough to become the member of such innovative states. That's our priority. It goes without saying. The experience of the previous years suggests that if we want something, we will definitely deliver. And of course, we have the systemic approach to achieve all that. We are sparing no efforts to achieve each and every goal of ours. And it's worth stating once again that innovations is not only about the new ideas and designs, but it's all about well-structured and comprehensive work streams. And Mikhail Fedorov will talk a lot about this, and that's what we've been discussing while drafting this global vision of ours. It's all about the just priorities, the efficient use of resources, something that would help us to design proper regulations to enforce our global vision, something that we were lacking for dozens of years previously, something that for decades to come, something that Ukraine has not been paying that much attention to. And obviously, today is the time to acknowledge that we're proactively involved in this trend, and the war just forced us to do that. Innovations has applicable usage on the front lines, more enemies killed, more territories freed. This is the first KPI that I personally set as the major advantage of innovations of war. In social policy, it's the effective rehabilitation of our wounded, both military and civilians. Again, this is very applied objective of our innovation. We'll talk some more about this later on. For instance, in demining, it's swift demining from the Russian explosive garbage, allowing the lands to be again used for arable purposes. So in agriculture and in farming, innovations would also help to grow up our economy. In the social services, that's absence of bureaucracy and red tape and corruption. Any state service could be rendered in a couple of clicks. In the education, that's preparing kids to the new realities, including the mines, and of course, through self-learning, they will reach their goals. And we are changing the 400-year-long classroom system. It's the online delivery most and foremost now, but the quality should improve, and information technology should contribute to increase the quality of education so that our kids would be exposed to a high quality level of education. Highly technological society provides high well-being and living standards for everyone. And this is another illustrative KPI of innovations. We can see Ukraine in 2030 as the state where innovations is the backbone of the national economy and national security, but we need to start investing now. And this is one of the cornerstones, this global innovative vision of ours. This paper is based on 3 pillars. Firstly, the development of the Ukrainian ecosystem of innovations, namely establishing the conditions for free existence and circulation of ideas, helping the research and academia, startups, technological companies. The second pillar, multifaceted government program of support of innovation, starting with deregulation, both in the COVID years and in the full-fledged war years. We're doing this. And of course, national earmarked programs plus deregulation is the second pillar. while the third pillar is incentives for innovations, development of those technologies that help to resolve the current challenges and the challenges of the future. We have come up with a number of draft laws and regulations that will help to support the innovative activities in Ukraine, but the most important thing for us is to lift all of the bureaucratic manacles that do not allow us to freely use our capabilities in drones and in lots of other things that Mr. Fedorov will report back to us. Our potential is tremendous, and of course we need to establish a competitive marketplace so that it will be merit-based and anyone talented could contribute to our economic growth. We already have some nice medical technology startups with huge potential, like as per Bionics developments, the bionic arm has been included into the list of the best inventions of the humankind in the 21st century, according to Time magazine, or AI assistant that analyzes the health stats and could warn the user about potential problems, health-related problems. So these innovations become much more popular and visible and important, not only for Ukraine, but globally for the whole humankind. They are very much needed nowadays, such innovations to treat our people, to rehabilitate and treat our wounded military, our wounded civilians, allowing them to get back to active, economically active social lifestyle, because people is the human capital of all the innovations, of all of the economic efforts. So we want to value, feel, and have the ability to allow our people, every Ukrainian, to stay economically active. Dear partners, friends, colleagues, I would like to thank you for being committed to this joint effort, namely building a strong, powerful, innovative state of Ukraine. We value the efforts of every person. We work as one team to achieve one major result, the victory. Renewal and renovation of Ukraine as the member of the Ukrainian family in the EU. And separately, I would like to honor and thank for the service our military, who allow us to build those ambitious plans, make them happen, build innovative society, dream about the victory and our innovative future. Thank you again. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for your leadership, for your support, and for your time. And we can start our presentation. What does Ukraine of the future look like? What is the healthy tomorrow? I hope for a happy tomorrow. The will to do more than we hoped we would. The will to create technologies which the enemies will cower in fear from. The will to better our life, to create jobs, to become the rear for those who are protecting liberty and freedom. A partner for developers, scientists, and businessmen. Those who define their own course. Our goal is to become a state for free people. So instead of hope, we act. The global innovation vision of Ukraine: to win peace. I would like to invite here the Vice Prime Minister on Innovation, Education, the Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, Mr. Mikhailo Fedorov. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Prime Minister, I think that today it's very atmospheric to present the innovation strategy out of a bomb shelter. You know, when the startups are being created in garages, but then we have an innovation strategy being conceived in a bomb shelter, which means we are not stopping. We are beginning, or actually continuing, something very big. And our only way forward is forward and up. So we are happy to present the vision for innovation, a strategic vision for innovation. Why is it called a vision? Because after all the discussion that we had with experts within our ministry involving other ministries, we now need to publish this document and start the public discussion on it so that the experts from different regions, maybe Ukrainians, maybe our foreign partners, maybe foreign experts, everyone who wants to get involved in crystallizing the strategy so that they can do so, after which we can adopt a document which is going to become a roadmap for all of us, for our team, and for the next teams to come. For the next 10 years, it's going to be a roadmap on developing innovation, on what we have already done. It's going to be a fixation of what we have already done, but also a lighthouse to which we should move towards. Talking about innovation, the Prime Minister has mentioned that we are already implementing numerous innovative projects, and the fact that our defense forces have been able to stop a powerful interventionist force is a testament to the fact that we've been able to leverage technologies, harness data, and the fact that we are already launching innovative schools. We are implementing Palantir, for example, to analyze our enemy and prioritize our targeting. SAP for prioritizing logistics, a mortgage which can be electronically signed from the trench. This all means that we are implementing an innovative strategy, but in order to accelerate this, we need to package this into a single vision and institutionally support it. Also, it's important to say that the world is not static by any means. It is developing very actively, and while we fight our enemy, other nations of the world are launching their green tech strategies and innovations. They build semiconductor factories. They iterate on artificial intelligence technologies, invest in startups, and the world is developing. And human capital is the most important capital of the world. And while the world is developing, we are in a very tough situation because we have to counter a very powerful and cunning enemy, but we also need to fight to retain our talent in our country and have them return to our country. And we have to be effective and competitive while we're at it. So if we look at where we are right now, if you look at the WIPO ratings, which is one of the major ratings, we are placed 55th among 132 nations. Even though we are using innovations during the war, and we are also using them to sustain civilian life, such as education and other spheres. But still, this means that we still need to resolve numerous issues to move even higher up this rating. Needless to say, we're very ambitious about placing higher in this rating, among others. Also, Ukraine is placed third in innovation development in lower income nations, but we would aspire to be number one in this category. But hopefully in 10 years, after 2030, we will be able to go into the medium income category. Regarding the financing of innovation, we see that Ukraine invests 0.29% of its GDP to R&D, while Europe does over 2%, and the world is around slightly shy of 2%. But this doesn't mean that we are underestimating the value of and the role of innovation and the necessity to invest into innovations. This means that we all, as citizens, first and foremost, people who are working with innovation, small and medium enterprises, the government, all the key stakeholders, we need to reach an agreement. As per what nation do we see? What Ukraine of the future do we see in 7, 8, 10 years? And what sectors are going to be a priority? And what do we need to finance? And this will allow us to resolve issues, deregulate, and move faster towards the decisions and solutions. And move up not only in our own indicators, but also in global ratings. And our experience shows that we can do this. Together with the Prime Minister, we were building up this organizational structure on digitization, and he remembers very well because he actually signed this CDTO organizational structure into life, which implements the policy. That was before anyone even believed that DIA can appear and actually be useful. But now we see that Estonia is implementing a product based on DIA, but during DIA summit, I'm not going to spoil the fun for you, but there are more countries coming on board implementing DIA. This means that we can create innovative products which we can contend for the first places in the family of innovative nations. We act because we cannot allow ourselves to lose, and this is very important. Because, actually, innovations emerge when you have very stringent constraints, and nevertheless you need to achieve a very significant result. And this is where the drones and the artificial intelligence systems decoding satellite footage come into life, and other products. They come out of necessity. So what are our principles which we found, which we built this vision upon? First of all, it is transparency, which means that the government creates convenient and transparent conditions for developing innovations. For example, if an entrepreneur wants to invest into a business dealing with autonomous transportation systems, the entrepreneur needs to understand that this is a priority sector for Ukraine, and there are stimuli, and there's deregulation happening there. There are support programs in place, and within the next time, within the immediate immediate future, there are going to be innovations implemented there. So small and medium enterprises need to understand the thinking of the state in terms of a certain sector. So that needs to be transparent. Secondly, partnership. It needs no explanation why our strategy is called win-win. It is because we want to build partnerships with our citizens, with our businesses, and with other countries on a win-win basis. So you help, you invest, and you also get a result. You also get a product that you're proud of. For example, developing DIA. DIA is being developed as a startup. We had help from our American partners, from our Swiss partners, and now today they are co-founders, the founding parents of DIA. And this is all built on a win-win basis. And the third principle is, of course, victory. We are happy to share our victory. We see our partners helping us with finance and resources to fight and defeat this enemy. And they're helping us with many things, with more than just finance and arms. We are getting hundreds of thousands of gadgets for schools and technology assistance in other sectors. So we're getting immense resources. And we are thankful, and we are ready to share the products which are developed in Ukraine so that our partners can feel that they're co-founders of the success, and they have created an asset in Ukraine, and they have been able to convert all of these resources into a cohesive strategy. So what else do we want to achieve with this vision? We want to have a vision that Ukrainians can understand and share in. We also want to create incentives for our economy to change. For example, our IT our tech industry is transforming from outsourcing focused to product focused, which means we're creating some world-renowned products. For example, a case study in Dia City, we incorporated the Go IT company, and it has raised $15 million through venture capital, and thanks to the Dia City financial and tax incentives. You will also see sector-wide directions for development of innovation, and you will see how our economy will change if we can agree on a strategy and we are going to prioritize its execution. The third direction is the policy. Today we are talking a lot about the digital state and other nations implementing DIA, but we want to be perceived as more than just a digital state. Before the full-scale war, we perceived Israel in terms of Miltech, and we had the case study where a missile hit an Intel facility, and people still delivered on time, and this is how brands are being built. But we have thousands of these case studies now, where despite missile strikes and devastation, companies continue to build innovation, implement success stories, and sell them domestically and globally. And we need to push this signal into the world so that the world understands Ukraine better. I think the world has already discovered Ukraine in a good way, and we would like to share these case studies to drive this point home. Another point of key importance is security. I can list a whole number of innovative projects. For example, the situational awareness systems, the munitions for UAVs, our situational awareness systems are up to NATO standards already, and we're using satellites, internet, and we're using artificial intelligence for recognizing faces and searching for persons, how we are using remote management and remote control of drones and unmanned marine vehicles. There are dozens of projects which are changing the rules of the game, and they are setting the pace for development in the world. And this is all happening here and now, as we speak. And of course, the next point is carrying on with digitization. We have some very distinct goals and some good successes to talk about. But on December 19th, we're going to present some revolutionary services, and in the next year, we have a very exact plan on what services we're going to roll out and when and how. Also, the Prime Minister mentioned today that innovations need to help the critical spheres of our life. Of course, we talked about security, but we also have the social sphere, the medical sphere. We have many veterans who are coming back home and will come back home. So the development of medical technology should be very important. So innovation will affect the social services and biotech,
and that's something we'd cover today some more. And the ecology as another global trend. Once again, it's an ever-changing environment while we are fighting our enemy, but we still need to acknowledge the global context and to start making steps that would improve our competitiveness. What are we going to be doing to make all those goals happen based on all those principles? Well, first of all, technologies and innovations should become a pop culture, an idea. Everything we do, we should look at all that through the innovations focus, through the focus of technologies. In the time of full-fledged war, we need to recognize what's the fastest path towards the victory, to bring our people back home, to change the structure of our economy. And for that, we need to build a relevant governance system. Prime Minister and I have such experience in digitalization sphere when we brought the politicians responsible for innovations in one place. We created the Institute of the Deputies responsible for innovative transformations. We launched DIA Company, the organization that implements the DIA policy. We managed to achieve results now when other ministries create the backlog to launch services and products at DIA, and we are not even following this queue line because everybody felt the benefits of the digitalization, why it's so user-friendly. And now all the ministries are thinking through the focus of digitalization. So digital first is part and parcel of our new culture now. So if there is a challenge or a problem arising, we immediately think how to let the DIA handle it in a couple of clicks. When they ask me what's our biggest victory in digitalization effort, it's that it became the pop culture in the minds of people. People think in terms of digital services. The same should be repeated. We should work in the footsteps in terms of the digitalization, and innovations. We need to think what are the best global success stories, which vendors to involve, how to simplify the rules of the game. And thus, what we can see is that we have differentiated innovative policy that was owned by diverse stakeholders. We need to bring it under one umbrella. We need to pass this vision, the strategy after its public hearings, of course. Then we need to establish the agency that would be responsible to enforce this innovation policy and communication with the whole world. Everything that we talk about today, including sectoral program, is what we need to manage and govern from A to Z, handling the problems, analyzing the results and outputs of the implementation of the projects, and for that we need one and only innovative agency. I see lots of deputies responsible for innovative transformations. You personally, and after the scope of authority would change, we would have to allow you to handle the function of the implementation of innovation, so that you would look not only at the policies formed at the level of your line ministries, but also for global innovative projects. First, you implement a technology or innovation with the help of those deputies responsible for innovative transformations. And thus, the ministries start thinking through digital technologies mind's eye, and soon enough they would start thinking through technologies and innovations. But it all starts with the educational system, and we are transforming all the layers of the educational system in Ukraine. The president focuses on this, and the new Ministry of Education that we have shaped together with the Prime Minister under the auspices of the presidential guidelines. We were looking for the team who have the following vision, who would help us to shape the vision. Why? Because the future belongs to innovative economies with lots of value-added companies who generate more than $1 billion and help to improve our GDP, established by and founded by the company, by the people that are based on the set of competences raised in the school and then in the colleges. So the new Ukrainian school, the reform of the higher learning educational establishment,
В нас є комплексне бачення,
how we elect rectors, all this would allow us to have more innovative companies around, and people will be able not only to found them, but to create new jobs, raise their base pay, sell globally, compete with other countries, and thus increasing the level of happiness inside the country, as well as our ability to defend ourselves. So innovations is the basis, and human capital, and raising the relevant set of competences That's what we will focus on, and we'll probably have a separate presentation sometime in February, how we changed our global vision about education with the game-changing MRIA application. And again, it will not be probably cooler than DIA, but as cool as it is, because I can see DIA designers here, and I don't want them to take it bad that I compare DIA and MRIA. We will increase the number of scientific parks in our universities. What we're talking here about is transforming the whole policy about science. We want the scientists to become pop stars and sex symbols of nowadays, because they generate the highest value in the highly technological countries. And this occupation, people who are scientists, they are undervalued, but we will provide them with enough resources to self-realize themselves. And we have a separate track as part of our education reform that goes hand in hand with the improving science. The audit of the current system, changing the funding system for higher learning institutions, where more funds will be provided to those institutes that have monetization projects, something similar to DSCT approach for scientists. Reformatting the requests when it's the line ministries that request products from the academia and scientific research institutions. When we allocate additional funds to the businesses that run scientific research papers similar to e-support, e-підтримка. So this will be an explosion. This will launch a new industry, but it has to provide economic benefits. 200 vendors of the drones, they compete, there is funding, and science comes there, and we have a unique connection now. Electronic warfare proof products, the whole line of solutions that will make it happen. Of course, the development of SMEs, because it's the self-employed entrepreneurs that generate innovations that the large companies, starting from start companies and the large corporations, can make use of. We have separate projects. E-business and the Ministry of Economy has been instrumental in making it happen. And the program with the grants that was launched by the government last year also supported thousands of businesses nationwide. So we would definitely continue in this important area. The development of clusters, well, we'll cover sectoral development separately. So sectoral innovative parks. The government allocated next year, and the parliament supported the development of industrial parks. And as part of the innovative strategy, we want to focus more on this so that next year we can launch more innovative parks. And this case with innovative parks will be considered now. Namely, by the way, I want to say that for each sectoral area, we have a number of experts, subject matter experts involved, and they shine here because they invested lots of their time, and I thank you separately for that. You live in your offices, but you would become even happier when it will make it happen. So industrial parks has been developed by the whole team that helps the Ministry of Economy in running this program. By the way, speaking about industrial parks, as the areas that have the tailored transportation logistics structures, after conducting a number of audits, we understand what are the deficiencies, what policy changes should happen, how to improve infrastructure support of those projects, and we have a clear-cut plan how to do it. If we look at the figures, for instance, they provide for more than 60% of the production and exports of the South Korea, more than one-third of the exports of Turkey, more than $30 billion of investments in Poland, and we visited the Ukrainian industrial parks. We together with the Ministry of Economy, would help them to move on with their action plan, and next year to launch 5 industrial parks altogether. The foundation is there, the budget, has allocated needed funding for next year. There's the support of all line ministries and agencies. A lot would depend on the implementation success. And the last thing, the penultimate thing to add before we move into sectoral presentations. We need to develop inclusive institutions that lay the foundation for the development of any area in any country. If we look at the success stories of some countries, well, not everything is based on leadership, investments of time and energy. You need to build independent, inclusive institutions, and we plan to start proactive protection of intellectual property rights, because in order to achieve a breakthrough, all the success countries launched the courthouses that deal with intellectual property rights cases. It's the intellectual properties that is the highest value in any products and any well, this is a follow-up effort to deregulation program. Together with Prime Minister, we have deregulated so many spheres. The last is the drones sphere, where we passed 25 regulations and laws, completely changed all the rules of the game of the play to have about 200 vendors now in place, and it's an ever-changing policy. Sky is the limit for perfection. Then we analyze the implementation challenges coming from all the stakeholders. We get the after-action reports from battlefields, what went wrong with communications, how many enemy vehicles destroyed, what could be changed, how to improve customs clearance for spare parts. So we need to change all of the rules of the play so that the private businesses would also be instrumentally involved in assisting us in designing and producing new drones. And finally, we have sectoral presentations ready to kickstart our discussion, solicit feedback from you. What is lacking? Why you think so? What could be added? What should be involved in each sectoral program? But we try to take into consideration the current context, where defense tech, agri-tech, medtech, biotech, green tech, and others are instrumentally important for our victory. But we also looked at the global context. What's happening globally? How not to lose the global battle? Well, nobody cares that we have a full-fledged war. Let's not develop our innovations. Let's wait for Ukraine. It's not going to happen. We need to get out of this war victorious, and one of the most developed innovative countries. Now the floor goes to my deputy, Valeria, who worked with the team for the last probably 6 months, while the focus of innovations is something that we kept for the last year. The last 6 months is the daily effort. So, Valeria, the floor is yours, please.
Attack, unmanned demining, harvesting, also cargo shipping and storage of raw materials, and of course defense tech, semiconductors. Ukraine assesses its chances very highly and is ready to contribute to the EU's goal in obtaining a 20% share in the global semiconductor market, which is going to reach $1 trillion by 2030. We will also aim to become one of the leaders in microelectronics. We are preparing talents. We are elevating the status of our engineers, and we are building the foundation of a chip factory in Ukraine. We are forming a significant demand for microelectronics too. We have a plan to move in this direction. In 2024, we will present a CHIPS Act UA, which will be very compliant with the US legislation. It's important for us to create an ecosystem with the core of microchip manufacturing, providing tens of thousands of jobs around this ecosystem. Ukraine today has its own infrastructure of machining, the chemical industry, and energy sector, which can enable a chip manufacturing industry. We will hope to become an integral part of the supply chain and reach a long-term position in the semiconductors market. Regarding our chip factory, we will try to match the demand of our internal market, but also create potential for export. We will open a fab with an output of 50,000 wafers by the end of the next 3 years. Also with defense tech, we have our Brave One cluster where companies can offer projects to the state and upgrade these projects to match the state demand. Of course, the full-scale invasion has boosted the demand for Miltech, but we also have numerous challenges, such as the senescence of our engineering and research talent and our dependence on foreign components. So we need to develop this direction and not stop at our success and not rest on our laurels. We need to focus on flexibility and initiative and open our doors to Western developers. And our focus right now is to shorten the development cycle from a frontline need to supply of technological solutions. We hope to develop and build on the Brave One cluster, and we are simultaneously building concepts for innovative academies for building talents in defense tech, because we need young talents which will create new defense technologies. Also creating new defense tech centers in the regions, which will become liaison points between developers and clients, and so that defense tech can develop further. We plan to implement a credit program for defense tech. As a result of the full-scale invasion of Russia into Ukraine, people need quality medical assistance. And of course, we're talking about prosthetics, burns, and also mental health. The future of medicine is not only in treatment, but also in prevention. This is why we intend to support startups and local business in medtech. Our primary focal points are increasing production of bionic and endoprosthetics, namely through 3D printing. Also increasing access to rehabilitation, search for wound and burn treatment technologies. Also talking about artificial skin and cellular technologies, medical technologies to protect and restore mental health, immersive technologies, things such as VR for PTSD treatment and other things. I would also like to think that these are the primary directions, and we are going to do so much more, but these are the ones that we're focusing right now. Biotechnology, the global biotech market is assessed at $752 billion, and it's still growing. Ukraine is placed 53rd out of 54 in the development of biotech. However, we have a scientific and research and development base that we can work with, because biotech is one of the most important building blocks of the future. And we have all seen this and we have seen the results of that in the newest COVID-19 vaccines being developed. Biotech and bioservices are very important in all spheres of human life, starting with detergents to foodstuffs, treating diabetes, but also regenerative medicine. We have been able to identify our strong points, and we have identified some potential to elevate our status in these spheres and other spheres, such as gene editing technologies, bioprinting and biotissues, treating oncological diseases, big data and AI in drug development, development of vaccines and antibiotics, fermented goods, and creating the infrastructure for labs for clinical trials. We really intend to become a player in biotech, and for this we are going to create a biocluster so that we enable the development of this ecosystem. We're going to boost competence centers and focus on the education of qualified staff. At Green Tech, we have a colossal potential to become an green innovation hub of Europe in terms of green metallurgy, smart grids, renewables, green hydrogen, and ammonia. We intend to decrease Ukraine's and Europe's dependence on Russia in terms of energy. Our specific goals include the 3 Ds: decentralized, digitalized, decarbonized. And we intend to focus on the green finance infrastructure and boost partnerships with key educational and research institutions, namely the clusters which the Vice Prime Minister mentioned. The centers of excellence and clusters are going to be one of the tools which we want to actively develop. We have planned a lot of projects, but this list is by no means exhaustive. We plan to support green tech businesses in the long term, and let me give you some examples. First is AI for energy, which is artificial intelligence for energy infrastructure, which will provide us more flexible grids. Power electronics, manufacturing power electronics and semiconductors to localize the manufacturing of key semiconductor components for energies, and also involving key players globally. Agritech. Ukraine is globally renowned by its powerful agrarian sector, and we are truly proud to see our achievements in this sphere. But modern challenges demand new solutions. And when the conditions of the full-scale invasions and the blockage of key shipping routes, Ukraine is faced with overproducing, which pushes us to deeper processing and creating more added value production. One of the key problems is the massive mining of thousands of square kilometers of Ukrainian agricultural lands. There are 500,000 hectares of degraded soils which need renovation and recreation. The key technologies in the agrarian sector focus on AI, vertical farming, and robotization. Now we see that UAVs and robotics will become massive technologies, and we're going to see a global shift towards a service-oriented approach. So addressing these global trends, we have ambitious goals, such as raising our share of processed exports in the agrarian sector to 35%, and also rebuild and renovate our degraded soils. These are our key challenges and the key opportunities to develop the agrarian sector. The specific proposals and more projects are available in the full documentation. COVID has also become a catalyzer in EdTech, in boosting remote forms of education and search for new forms of teaching. The full-scale invasion has deepened this trend, and we have identified that our educational system has to be safe, flexible, and inclusive. Last year, we have been actively transforming the educational system to transform the human capital, and we have been implementing many initiatives together with our partners. Next year, we're going to present a new system called MRIA. We have a language program, we have a STEM program, and all of this is going to influence the development of human capital. We need to work on this more systematically, and we need to create even more opportunities for Ukrainians, which are going to engage in lifelong learning, build their own personalized career paths, and be ready for future professions and optimize their employment opportunities. Today, we need a fast track to the job market, and we need more and more programs for reskilling. Another thing we are focusing on is the fluid economies and borderless economies, because an ever digitized world increases the number of trans-border operations. The borders are being blurred and bypassed. And new formats are emerging which require new legal and economic frameworks. And this is why here we are focusing on three directions. First, which is the digital economy with digitization and technologization, gig economy for the new format of labor engagement, and circular economy. And some of the first projects which we are considering are arbitration and mediation for dispute resolution. This is a pilot for DS city residents. This addresses the dispute resolution problem. Also a Web3 Gov acceleration incubation program, which is a program for our investors and businesses. And this project resolves the problem of state support, a comfort zone for digital nomads, and also LinkedIn for gig economies, which is going to support the supply chains for the gig economy and supply chains and contractors. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is key today for governments globally and businesses globally. And with the full-scale invasion of Russia into Ukraine, the acceleration of technological progress in cybersecurity has become a cornerstone for the functioning of the state services, and the development of the economy. We believe in the concept of the human perimeter, where the private sector and private citizens become the basis for the activities of the state. We are seeing volunteer projects such as the IT Army, which during the entire time of the full-scale invasion have been fighting the aggressor on the digital front lines. We see that we can build this golden triangle of partnership, which is the citizens, business, and state, to build more cyber resilience. We see an immense potential for developing new digital products, and the world needs to know that Ukraine is one of the most innovative countries in the world. We need to build on global cooperation to counter cyber attacks by focusing on AI, robotics, and quantum security. We also need to bolster initiatives which are going to protect the operators of critical infrastructure. Artificial intelligence. I also have a reminder on the air raid alarm. So artificial intelligence can create an additional $15.7 trillion of global GDP by 2030. AI is actually a challenge to the world, but we in Ukraine have to ride the wave and not be afraid of it. We are integrating in this trend, especially in GovTech. We're working on integrating AI and DIA, but we will also focus on MRIA, which is going to help build unique educational technologies. We are also getting an advantage from using AI in the battlefield. We are reading satellite imagery and filtering through troves of data. We have taught drones to identify targets in the battlefield. And this experience is going to become a cornerstone for future experience in the world. We can also use AI in urban planning, education, healthcare, facilitate infrastructural solutions, and facilitate the reconstruction of our country. It will allow us not only to adapt, but also to lead. And to do that, we have identified the following top projects in our strategy. First is GovTech AI Center of Excellence, which is an international cluster for developing solutions for the government and local governance. The project will include an incubator for testing and scaling successful ideas, and also a training center for government employees. Government BI, this is a system to fight the so-called human subjective factor during exercising of administrative discretion. It will allow to analyze huge amounts of data and consider them in building policy. And we plan to have solutions which solve very concrete problems, but not abstract one. And the third project is the high-tech sandbox, which is testing the AI and Web3 projects for the government, which is going to strengthen our position in the Global Innovation Index and other indexes, and also maybe getting into the Stanford AI Index and other ratings. This will probably allow us to involve talent in AI and big data in Ukraine. Creating prototypes in the digital environment and augmented reality. This is something that the leading nations use and global leading companies use. According to forecasts, by 2030, the AR/VR market is going to reach $859 billion. This is why we understand that this technology is here to stay. So we can, ignoring it in the future is going to be like ignoring artificial intelligence now. We are now focusing on immersive technologies, which is XR. This market is represented by micro enterprises, with 1/4 implementing projects for the public sector. The most important spheres are education, healthcare, and defense. It is very important for us to accommodate to the needs of the Generation X and as well as the millennials and Zoomers. We are proposing things such as digital twins in infrastructure, immersive education, and digital services. We're talking about developing immersive content, adapting immersive technologies in the military training, and providing services in the metaverse.
Now, once again, I would like to thank all the subject matter experts instrumental in writing this strategy paper, this vision of ours. And separately, thank you, USAID's project, Cyber Security of Critical Important Infrastructure in Ukraine. Thank you for your experts. We're grateful to all of you in the audience. And now, can you please show the QR code? So I would kindly ask you to join the discussion of the draft strategy paper. Share your comments, your feedback. Stay in touch with us, because it's all about how we're going to be moving forward and developing this country together. At this stage of time, I would like to give the floor. Are you ready? So I would like to give the floor to Theodora Dell, Acting Director of USAID Mission in Ukraine, thanks to whom this project became possible. So thanks to you and your team. The floor is yours.
Дякую, Валерію, за цю надихаючу презентацію.
Thank you, Valeria, for this inspiring presentation. Esteemed colleagues, friends, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be able to join such a respected community of Ukrainian innovators. I would like to separately thank Prime Minister Shmyhal and Vice Prime Minister Fedorov for the leading role in creating the global innovation vision of Ukraine. I am absolutely flabbergasted with your effort. It's my honor to be in the same hall with you, with your colleagues and the team of the USAID office that contributed to this effort. Worldwide, the Ukrainians are well known with their courage and resilience in the face of aggression. More and more, the world can see the world as the leader in innovations, especially in breakthrough technologies. From the unbelievable initiative, the Army of Drones, that buys the drones and trains the operators, all the way to Dream platform, the renovation platform, and such important area as learning educational skills and implementing cybersecurity all across the society. Gaining the victory in this war, but also it means new ways of running business, rendering services, ensuring that you are competitive in the global economy. It's worth separately state that the war of global challenges still allows Ukraine to raise its index of global innovation. So we can see that Ukraine now sits in the place number 55 globally, which is impressive enough. Science and innovations help Ukraine not only to win this war and build and overcome the economic turbulences, but find new opportunities that the whole world faces. But still lots of work ahead of us to build the Ukraine of the future, independent, free from corruption, democratic country that Ukrainians are dreaming about. In order to establish the global business environment that would allow innovations to thrive, Ukraine needs to strengthen anti-corruption institutions and the rule of law, which would help to resolve such difficult issues as how to protect intellectual property rights, in particular transparency, competitiveness, and zero tolerance to the old ways of running business are the important preconditions for Ukraine to open up its true potential during the renovation and rebuilding effort. That's why this global initiative is so much important, which we are launching with you today, which shows that the government and the whole society joined efforts to use innovations for further transformation of the society. This is the strategy of promoting the economic growth through support of innovations and infrastructure development is very sound. Innovations are the cornerstone of our partnership as well. Together, we worked on developing the tools for digitizing public procurement starting from 2016. Prozora is a transparent procurement system that has been used to make procurements for 146 billion to save about $8 billion from the national budget. And obviously, Ukraine became the model of electronic governance thanks to yet another cooperation effort. We talked about DIA app, and next week we're gonna be also discussing it because it keeps adding new services and now it could be used globally. We are very proud that we played our small role in that. Only a couple of weeks ago, the Ministry of Transformations and the USA announced the $500,000 worth grants program for innovators. As part of this grant program, proactive cybersecurity project will fund up to 10 cybersecurity solutions, which would contribute to cybersecurity strengthening in Ukraine and competitiveness of Ukrainian products in this arena. Our joint efforts cover cybersecure Ukraine. This is definitely a win-win strategy. We are proud to be your partner in implementing the Ukrainian vision of global innovations, the vision that forms the path towards constant peace and well-being. Thank you, and glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Thanks a lot for your support. And friends, we will be finalizing this event. Those who haven't scanned this QR code, please do now. We would like to thank Prime Minister of Ukraine for your leadership, for your time, for your support. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Our kind thanks, Vice Prime Minister, for leadership in informations and innovation projects. Partners, stakeholders, please stay in touch. This event is over. Please, esteemed journalists, the comments from Ivan Fedorov will start 10 minutes near the major banner, and have a quiet day and peaceful day ahead of you. Thank you.